I don't know how this is going to turn out. This is going to be cat out the bag. This is going to be some pretty whacked out stuff. I'm whacked out as it is, or at least more odd than the average person. But I'm going to go ahead and tell it to you like this. I went out to California in 2018 to get these turtles that this guy had in captivity as animals that he kept, kind of like I keep turtles, whatever. And he was getting elderly, got Parkinson's, things like that, in his 70s, wanted me to take care of these turtles. So I kept calling the state of California, and I kept saying, hey, I got to come out and get these turtles. And they kept saying, well, tell me who's got them, because it had been illegal for the guy to have them, and I didn't want him to get snagged up. So I kept saying, well, let's just kind of try to work something out where you don't prosecute him and you can give me the permission to take him so it doesn't somehow become a federal crime. Well, tell me who he is. Tell me who he is. And I'm like, I don't want to let's handle that later. Who does it matter? I mean, he's getting older. I don't want him to get picked up and put in jail just for having these turtles. I want to get out there and get everything worked out. So they never helped me. So I decided to fly out there. So I flew out there in 2018, and I work with this guy, and I call the Game Commission for the California Game and Fish Commission, and I talked to the guy that seemed most helpful before, and he's like, yeah, but you told me you were going to call me back and tell me the guy's name. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of let you know I didn't want to. Oh, he said, you told me you were going to have the guy call you. And I'm like, yeah, but the man's elderly and he's kind of ill, man. I mean, I'm out here now. Let me give you his name and number. Let's get this worked out. Send me somebody, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we got it all worked out. He's like, I can't guarantee they're not going to write him a ticket or take him to jail or throw him under the jail or give him a firing squad execution, right off the bat on the spot. And I said, I understand, we're willing to take that risk. So I go out there. Anyway, game warden came out. We filled out the paper. Everything was good. But in the meantime, I'm building these crates, and I didn't have a perfect coordination with the game commission because it was so hard to reach them. It's like I got to make 50 calls to get to the right people. I couldn't get to one guy. I left him a message, whatever. Maybe he was trying to coordinate stuff for me. He didn't call me back. But I'm out there building the crates, and I hear this noise. I hear this noise above me, right? And I look up above me, and I'm like, man, that's a drone. They got a drone looking out after me. And of course, I get paranoid. I mean, it's like I've gone through a lot of stuff with agents of wildlife. It's like they set me up, they frame me, I proved they framed me. They were going to put me in prison. I went to a trial for like 4 days, like a little murder trial. Like I was going to go to prison for 21 years, and these guys framed me and they lied. And I ended up proving they lied, and I won the civil rights lawsuit, and I won my trial against me. But I see this drone in the sky in California. I'm like, these some bitches are up there with a drone, and they're spying on me, trying to get this intelligence and trying to gather up this data, and they're going to try to sting me. And I'm not going to leave California with these turtles without having this paperwork filled out. I'm not going to commit some federal crime. I never have, so why would I start now? They're sure as hell not going to snag me with any of this stuff. These crates are going to stay empty until paperwork's signed. So that drone saw that I saw the drone. It's like the drone saw that I saw the drone and flew away. And I'm like, let me look more in this sky to see if there's any more drones in the sky. So I look up in the sky, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God, holy crap, look at that. What is that? And up in the sky, I shit you not, up in the sky at the edge of frickin' space, it was like 4:30 on the October 18th, 2018 or something like that, late October. It's 4 o'clock. Up in the sky, at the edge of space, shining in the sun, were like 3 super big discs of metal. 3 of them. 3 at the edge of space. It's like they were crescent moon, and there were 3 of them. And I say crescent moon because they were round, but it's only like the leading edge was shining in the sun, and the rest of it wasn't shining in the sun. It was like they were 3 discs, but they would have had to have been 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 miles long. They were huge at the edge of space. And I pointed them out to the people that were with me. There were 3 other people with me. There were 3 of these big things. And they all saw them, and I went to get the camera, this same phone that I got here. Could have been a different model. I went to get that out of the car, and then I went to refocus on where those were, and they were gone. I couldn't see them. Okay, this is just the beginning of the story. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to say they landed and took me hostage and captive and all that stuff. I'm not going to tell you that crap. But I'm going to go back in time to my great uncle, Roy, and I did a video on this, Uncle Cowboy. And Uncle Cowboy was my Uncle Roy that was in the Air Force in the late 40s, flying from Waco, Texas to California every day. And they were getting radar installed on the planes, and he saw alien craft over the Southwest all the time, and he knew the base commander at Roswell, and he stopped in after the wreckage had been moved to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and he handled some of the wreckage, so I did a video on that. Not only that, but my lovely wife, who I've been married to now damn near 20 years, 18-something years, she had an old boyfriend. And she only had like one old boyfriend of like 10 years, on and off again for 10 years. Now, she had a lot of people trying to get her to go out on dates, and she had a lot of dates, but she only had this one boyfriend. And I've met him twice because she was good friends with his mother. I mean, he stopped into town. I've been out to dinner with his father to the restaurant. I've been out to dinner with his mother. The mother, they come by in town. He's in Houston. He's a petroleum engineer, but he's from Colombia, South America. His name's Oscar. I know his last name, but I'm not going to say it. I want to get him on the video. But my wife and Oscar and about 6 of their friends were in northern Bogota at some national park. And they had a close encounter. They saw the craft from the distance, and the craft came up to them and hovered right over them for about 2 minutes while she prayed to St. Michael so she didn't get abducted. But the craft was hovering right over them, silent, had lights. It was round. It was a disc. She says, is about like a couple of my trucks, 60 feet maybe, 2 or 3 of my trucks, whatever. But it was right over them, like 20 feet over them. All right, so look. Now that's all the UFO stories I've got. That's the closest I've been to UFO situations. She had the close encounter. I saw the big, huge mother craft. My uncle was at Roswell after, and he handled some of the wreckage that they didn't take. So that's all of my alien stories for you. That's it. Now, until I can get Oscar on the phone, that's it. But let's get into this universe situation. What's going on in this universe? What's going on right now in 2020? No, I'm not about to tell you the aliens are going to land. None of that crap. What I'm going to tell you is probably going to blow your mind, but you can look at it for yourself. You can type in some of these topics, and you can look at some very interesting discussions. Time to us is linear on Earth as a human being. In this reality, in this dimension, there are multiple universes. Check it out for yourself. You'll see some real high-level, interesting physics professors discussing multi-universes. Not only that, time is past, present, and future in the now. Okay? Past, present, future in the now. Seriously, it is. It's called something like the block of time theory or something. And in these parallel universes, time in physics, time cannot be zero. It can only be forward or backwards, but for the most part, it's forward. For a consciousness, consciousness, it has to move forward because of entropy. All right? So now let's talk about this. When you die, what happens when you die? Do you just go into the earth as ashes and dust and that's it? No, you've got a soul and a spirit. The energy cannot be created or destroyed, merely transferred, right? So you've got a soul, and that soul crosses into the spiritual world, which is basically exactly like this world, but without the material. Without the material. Glass, typing on glass or pounding on glass. Without the material world. It's just simply energy. And there's such thing as astral projection. I've damn near been able to get into astral projection. I've been in the state where you can crack your conscious out of your body. And I want to do that, but every time I'm about to do it, my dang wife has got her hand or leg on my hand or leg or whatever, and it's disrupting me because I got to sit like perfectly still. I can't really do it laying in the bed with her, but what I've been close to doing is after I've had a long nap and I don't need so much sleep but I'm still kind of rested and tired, I can get into that stage where you've ended up vibrating, and it's in that vibration stage where you could crack your consciousness separate from your body, and you can go anywhere you want to go. You can go, but you got to make sure you're not afraid of heights, because you can fly anywhere instantaneously, even if you don't know where it is. Check into that too. And I've gotten almost there. I tried the rope trick, and the rope trick didn't work. I think I'm going to try the fall out of bed trick. And they say the first thing you need to do is put your spirit arm through the wall to see what it's like to go through solid material, and then also take your spirit self and look in the mirror and see what you see, bathroom mirror. And one guy went to Trader Joe's, and he thought he was dreaming because he was out floating above the cashiers, and he never saw the one blonde cashier. And so then he went back home and got in his body again. And he said, well, I was just dreaming that I was at Trader Joe's. I'd never seen that lady before, and I know all the Trader Joe people. So he goes down to Trader Joe's, and he sits in whatever chairs they had. This is before coronavirus. He sits in the chairs that they had at Trader Joe's, and then all of a sudden he sees that lady come back from lunch. And the time that he went home and came back, she'd gone to lunch, and now she came back. So he really was over her cash register, checking her out. And then there's all those other stories. And then you can go on the backside of the moon and go wherever you want to go. You can go to your friend's house and read the paper that his wife left him on the counter about, the grocery list or whatever. And but I hadn't got there yet. So let's talk about something else. The landscape of time. The landscape of time. So remember how I said time is congruent? It's simultaneous. It's past, present, and future happening now somewhere in some dimension, in some parallel universe, or however that works. I don't know. So Dolores Cannon was not a psychic medium, and she was not a psychic person at all, but she was a hypnotherapist on past life regressions, which wouldn't really be a past life, would it? It'd be a current life. So it'd be like you in the spirit of another person. It's like your spirit's in the spirit of another person, and you're linked somehow. Now, we're all cleaved off of God, and there is a God. Now, the God's not the same God you learn about in the Baptist King James version of the Bible. But God is the one source of the universe, and the universe is absolutely immense, right? So we're all cleaved off of God, and so we're all part of God. I'm not saying I'm God, but I'm saying we're all part of God, and we're all creators ourselves in our own lives. And you can manifest reality. You can make your reality happen by focusing on it and working towards it. And your reality can become what it is that you want it to become. And you can tune into that whole aspect of your life and your future. But let's get back to this time landscape. So she was doing hypnotherapy on somebody. This is called the Nostradamus Conversations. And you kind of look at it on YouTube, and you see her lecture about it, her discussion about it, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Wow, I wonder if she's making that up. I wonder if she's delusional somehow. I wonder if that's real. And then all of a sudden, you crack open the internet on Google, and you find Conversations with Nostradamus Volume 2, and you see how Brenda was the first person that Nostradamus used to contact her. And Nostradamus said, I am not a spirit. I am talking to you from my time. And the dialogue between Dolores and Brenda was reciting what Nostradamus was saying, because Brenda was like Dionysus, who was an apprentice with Nostradamus. And Brenda's repeating what Nostradamus is saying, and Dolores has got like a 1986 copy of the Nostradamus quatrains that have been translated, and she's trying to translate them and tell Nostradamus how they were translated and how they're saying that Nostradamus was wrong on his prediction. Well, the prediction was wrong, and Nostradamus was getting pissed off. And it's funny, this dialogue, and it's like, I don't know that somebody could quite be that creative to come up with all this dialogue and the stuff that Nostradamus is saying. And Nostradamus was always being so mysterious, but he wanted to make sure that these quatrains were properly translated. And that's why he was working with Dolores. But supposedly Dolores has got all this written in books, and it's volume 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. I got to find out if it is all those volumes and see what she has to say about that. So this universe is pretty whacked out and weird. And here it is, 2020, and we got this coronavirus going on. Excuse me. I've been wearing masks all day, and multiple masks get my nose kind of running funny. My dad said the same thing happens to him. So, and then I know somebody that's got the coronavirus, and I'm trying to get word to him to take some coconut oil because that creates monolaurate acid. But anyway, elderberry might create a cytokinin storm. You need some anti-inflammatories. I don't know if the elderberry is supposed to keep the furin, disrupt the furin, so that the viruses can't attach to your cells. But then there's that whole cytokinin storm thing. So I don't know. But this coronavirus, did it happen in the laboratory? I know a guy that says, Steve, I do business with a guy whose whole family is from Wuhan, and the first lady that ever died of the coronavirus worked in the laboratory. She brought it home from the laboratory. Now, they say it's not genetically engineered. There's no similar genetic markers on it for having been genetically engineered. Did it come from a pangolin? One of those funny-looking armor-shielded animals? I don't think so. Did it come from the wet market? I don't think so. But I don't know that it was necessarily genetically engineered, but it could have been selected for, like Mendelian genetics selection. So it could have been selected to be more virulent or more contagious or float in the air better with all those little spikes, because the thing floats in the air, folks. 6 feet. I saw 2 guys today, and they weren't wearing a mask, and they were supposed to, because the governor said today everybody out in public, inside, whatever, is got to wear a mask, executive order. And the company that I work for, there's a mask order too. So these 2 guys, they weren't wearing a mask, and they're like, "Oh, but I thought we were 6 feet apart from each other, and it was okay." And I said, "Are you going to bet your life on 5 foot 11 inches in 30 seconds? You going to bet your life on 5 foot 11 inches, 30 seconds? Are you? I mean, seriously. But where in the rules does it say it's okay you're more than 5 foot 11 inches, 30 seconds away from the other guy, so you don't have to wear a mask? Where the heck does it say that? Move to Florida and worship Ron DeSantis. Death sentence. Yeah, worship him. Okay, move to Florida and worship him. So anyway, I'm about to close out because this is running on 20 minutes. And if I still got your attention after nearly 20 minutes, the cat is out the bag. The cat is out the bag. Bye.